what is the dog going to do? The dog's probably going to play with it, right?
Right.
And so what is this thing to the dog? And I promise this relates to our human suffering. What is this thing to the dog?
It's a toy. It's something fun.
It's a toy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So which is it really? Is it a pen or is it a chew toy? Which is it really?
Well, it depends on how you perceive it.
So perfect answer. Perfect answer. And it is true, right? It's true. Both of them are true.
Right.
Both of them are true. The pen is true and the chew toy is true. So if I put the object away and we all leave the room, then what is left? What is there? What is that object?
Yeah. It's just go ahead.
No, it's hard to say, right?
Right.
I
right.
couldn't say. There's no one in the room to perceive the thing. And that feeling of like searching for the answer, I don't know what to call it, is the concept of what's ultimately true in Buddhism. It's called emptiness.
Yeah.
Because when I come back in the room, I see a pen. When the dog comes back into the room, she sees a chew toy.
That's
so where is pen coming from? Is it coming from the external object, or is it coming from my mind? It's coming from my mind. It's coming from me out into the world, not from the world to me. And if it's true about something like a pen, that my experience of the pen is coming from my mind, not from that cylinder, that plastic or metal cylinder. If it's coming from my mind, and if it's true about the pen, it's true about everything. It's true about my relationships. It's true about how I see my partner, how I see my job, how I see the computer that's in front of me, how I see my mother, how I see the president. It's true about everything.
Yeah.
And so when we get to that realization, it's really coming from me. Then the question is, well, how do I change it? Can I just close my eyes and say some special words like a secret mantra? Can I close my eyes and wish that it's not a pen? And the answer is no, because if that was true, I could close my eyes and wish that it was a bar of gold. And I can't do that. That would be very beneficial to my financial savings.
Yes.
But I can't do that.
Right.
And so then we go into why are meditation and yoga important? Because we have to learn how to seed the mind, to plant the experience. I can't change it in the moment. But if I can affect the way my mind moves through actions of body, speech, and mind, that's the general teaching.
Yes.
You change your actions, you change your words, and then you change your thoughts. And we start to initiate the experiences that we want by planting seeds in our mind. Then when I walk into the room, what ripens into my reality, what comes from my mind, it starts to be different.
Yeah, it's all about perception, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that is the most beneficial to well-being. If we look at something that in Tibetan Buddhism or in Buddhism, in the Buddhist teachings, in the canon as a whole, it would be that. Because then we are empowered. If we are the creators of our reality, then we can change everything. We could change anything.
Yeah.
It just takes time, as you said.
Yeah, and it's I think this is an important teaching, especially as you said during the environmental and political and health climate these days. To step back and really look at what's going on. And I truly believe that all the stuff that's going on, we're going to become more enlightened. We're hopefully going to find ourselves a bit more in how we fit into the world. And I'm going to sort of ask you a question that's been is really prominent to me. I have a question that I wanted to ask you before this, but I am just going to ask you this other question because I think it's really important for our listeners. Your studio, Three Jewels, is a nonprofit organization, and it provides free meditation and yoga classes to homeless families and trauma-sensitive care to refugees and people like earthquake survivors. What has been the reaction from your local communities that you offer these services to the people who really need them the most?
It's such a great question. And Three Jewels is the reason why I've been able to learn all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Three Jewels has been around since the early 90s, actually. So I inherited it as like, I was hired to become the director. It was somewhere that I studied, and it was somewhere that I volunteered for about 6 years until they offered me a position. So when I talk about it, it's something that I have the honor of continuing and serving as an establishment in the East Village. So it's true, we do provide all of these services, and we have in the past, traveling to Nepal, and also doing some local work. And, COVID-19 hasn't been good to many wellness studios in New York City. A lot of spaces have closed.
Yeah.
And a lot of spaces have moved online, which is what we've done.
Yeah.
We actually pivoted everything in a matter of like 2 days when we realized, because if you remember, when COVID first happened, nobody really knew what was going to go on. We didn't know that everything would be closed. First, we thought, oh, we'll just Lysol everything.
Right.
And people will be okay.
Right.
and it turned out to not be the case. So we pivoted everything online. And then we realized, people aren't able to afford classes anymore. They're getting laid off. They're losing their jobs. So we actually, on October 1st, made all of our classes free or by donation to absolutely everyone. So it's not just the nonprofit work that we do, with Department of Homeless Services or DOE or anything like that. Now it's for everyone. So the reaction for that has been overwhelmingly positive. We had a bunch of members who, were paying a monthly fee for classes, and many of them said, I want to keep donating anyway, because I'm so happy that you've been able to provide these classes and care for the community during COVID. We gave a bunch of scholarships this year for our meditation teacher training, about $93,000 in scholarships this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we have this training going on. It's our first time doing a virtual training. And we wanted to invest in our Black, Indigenous people of color in the community. And we gave away over $43,000 in scholarships just to the BIPOC community. And it's just been, we have over 60 people in the current training, and it's felt like a virtual family. People are feeling disconnected. They're like, oh, I don't want to go on another Zoom call. It doesn't feel like that in our training. People have just been supportive.
They've been supportive of you. Rachel, I have to tell you, we are almost at the end of our interview. I can't believe it. We have just had such a great time. But I want to ask you, just sort of very briefly, and I ask all my guests this. Can you share your very favorite yoga posture with us?
Absolutely. I was thinking about to make a joke and say Shavasana. I'm sure a lot of people say that.
They do.
But for me, if I had to, send one last message out to your listeners, it would be Padmasana or Vajrasana, which are respectively lotus pose or diamond pose. And these are the meditation postures. One of my favorite things to do as an Ashtangi trained yogi, is to refer to the 8 limbs of yoga. And of course, physical poses are just one of those 8 aspects of practice for a yogi. And so when I highlight the meditative practices, because they really do open up into a beautiful new world and a new way of living and practicing.
Beautifully said. Rachel, I am distraught that our interview is over. Now I'm going to have to meditate. But I seriously, I'm so grateful. I would like to invite you back to talk a little bit more about what you do in Tibetan Buddhism practice and meditation. And so I will connect with you, and we will schedule again so that we can have another half hour of your Wonderful, wonderful conversation. And thank you, Rachel, for joining us on Yin Yoga Lifestyle. And if you would like more information about Rachel Webb, you can visit 3jewels.org and class with her, go to a class with her online, or follow her on Instagram at internet.dakini, Dakini. Rachel, many thanks again for being with us today on Yin Yoga Lifestyle. What an absolute treat and pleasure it has been having you here today.
Thank you, Colette. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
And please don't forget to check us out and visit yinyogalifestyle.com and subscribe to our yinyogalifestyle.com newsletter. You can find free yin yoga videos on our site, and you can join live online Zoom yin yoga classes and receive your first class for free. Let's get you started on your daily yin yoga routine. And thank you for joining Yin Yoga Lifestyle listeners out there, adding enlightenment, calm, balance, and creativity to your everyday life. I am your host, Colette Darville. Join us next time to continue our journey of balancing into a state of perfect harmony. Until then, this is Colette Darville, reminding you to inhale, so, and exhale, hum.